right? Of course you would. We can say we are, but are you really open to spiritual growth? I have struggled with that because when you say to the Lord, I'm open for spiritual growth, you know what that means? It means you will respond to the Lord, whatever the Lord may call you to do. Have you found in life that once you became a Christian, temptation increased? It wasn't so easy to live the life as you thought it would be. It's not a case like in those old television programs where everybody smiles and they're happy and life is just one bed of roses. Doesn't work that way. Because I do believe in the temper of the devil. I truly believe in it. But greater is the Lord than anyone else. I used to be kind of perplexed or bugged by people would say they would pray. My wife will immediately know what I'm going to say. We'd have testimony time. Remember I used to do testimonies Sunday night church? Okay, maybe we got there and share what the Lord's doing for you. And this one person kind of gave me whiny testimony. Very negative. They go, I just say that I can bind Satan. The devil's making my life miserable. And when I get done, I say to my wife, well, that really went a real plumber, that testimony was. Now, maybe she was sincere, but at some time, this guy's wife, I said, to the husband rather, could your wife be a little more positive during that? I wasn't the pastor, I was attending that church. He said, yeah, I've talked to her about it, but it's just the way she is. She spent 90% of her time worrying about what the devil was going to do. Well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that, because I believe this. If you're growing spiritually, if you're really doing what God wants you to do, you don't have to worry. I've always been amazed at the guidance systems in spacecraft. It's amazing. When a rocket takes off, leaves the launch pad, now you may say, you know, we did those moon shots. Could you have missed the moon? Yeah, you can. And coming back, they could miss it and they could skip off the atmosphere and head into the sun. They say the Soviet Union did it a couple of times, so they say. But when a rocket sits on the launch pad, it's just sitting there. But once it goes forward, this intricate guidance system tells it where to go and guide and direct that spacecraft to its destination. But it only can take hold if what? If the rocket is moving forward. You can't stay put. So to grow in your spiritual walk, you've got to be going forward. I'd like to read today out of 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. I like this passage, and I like what it has to say, because it talks about a woman of great faith. So chapter 4, 2 Kings, the first 7 verses. Now the wife of one of the sons of the prophets cried to Elisha, your servant my husband is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. But the creditor has come to take my 2 children to be his slaves. Elisha said to her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what have you in the house? And she said, your maidservant has nothing in the house, except a jar of oil. Then he said, go outside, borrow vessels to all your neighbors, empty vessels, and not too few. Then go in and shut the door upon yourself and your sons, and pour into all these vessels. And when one is full, set it aside. So she went from him and shut the door upon herself and her sons. And as she poured, they brought the vessels to her. When the vessel was full, she said to her son, bring me another vessel. And he said to her, there is not another. Then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God and said, go sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons can live on the rest. This is a story, a narrative, a great story. A story of how God can work in an impossible situation. And the first point we see here, an innocent woman suffering. Has anybody here ever suffered? You have with the surgery. Katie knows about it. But have you ever been in a situation where you were really having a really tough time? And it didn't appear that there was an easy answer out. Ever been there? What are you going to do at that point? And sometimes you go to friends. I remember I was in a real dilemma. So I thought I would talk to a friend, kind of feel better. So I told him the situation. I said, well, what's your take on this? States Rome, that's all I can say. I said, and? What can I say? All I can say is the only good thing is it's not happening to me, it's happening to you. I said, do you have any other encouraging words? That's not going to work. So this woman is in a situation. We see a lot of innocent people suffering in this world. And as a Christian, you are not exempt from hard times. If you think you are, you're on the wrong page, so to speak. Things happen to people when you haven't done anything wrong. I took a record time in getting a mortgage. I didn't do anything wrong. And I finally, at one point, I said to this lawyer that was handling the affairs for this other, the seller, I said, maybe I should just give up. Have I done something wrong here? He said, no, you didn't do anything wrong. You've just kind of been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you've been kind of victim of circumstances. There are, so to speak, what I call them, occupational hazards of living on planet Earth.